I'm Sophia A. Jackson, and I'm the editor and founder of Aphrodisiac Theatre News. And today I'm joined by
Chuchu Nwagu.
woohoo! um, how are you on
I'm
this
good, thank
sunny
you.
but cold Friday morning?
I know I wish it was more sunny, but nevertheless. But I'm good, I'm good. It's sort of been a long week, but then again, it's been a long year. So it's sort of nice to know that we're reaching towards the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to like
Mhm.
down tools and
Yeah,
just relax and do nothing for at least two
definitely.
weeks.
Agree, agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you. I've seen you so many times out and about over recent years at various theatre events. So it's
Yeah.
great that we're able to talk today about your career from Red Pitch to Choir Boy to Get Up Stand Up and now Sleeping Beauty. What's a day in the life of a producer look like for you?
Good question. It
You said you were
varies.
doing auditions today, and I'm like, but
Yeah,
Sleeping
I'm in
Beauty's
auditions.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in auditions for a show called Play On, which has been
Oh
touring across
yeah.
the country, and we're auditioning for a couple of new swings to join. So I'm here in the lovely Dance Attic, which, yeah, is seems to be regular home for auditions. And it's funny, I was walking through reception, got Guanes downstairs as we're rehearsing for Peter Pan, which he's doing at Nottingham.
Yeah.
So yeah, no day's ever the same. And some days it could literally be solely admin. Other days you could be meetings around marketing budgets. Other days you could be talking to insurers. Other days you could be meeting with investors to raise money. You could be doing auditions. You could be in satin rehearsals or tech rehearsals. So I think the variety of the day of a producer is what makes it exciting and what
Mm.
sort of keeps it alive. I think I've worked at a number of office jobs in the past where it's just been day in, day out. You arrive, you sit down, you look at your emails, you do this. But actually
Mm.
knowing that in one day I could do five different things and then probably go and see a theatre show in the night. And that vibrancy is definitely what keeps me alive and keeps me going.
That sounds so fun. So is that why you decided to be a producer because of the variety that's involved? How did this happen?
Yeah, no. Producing was never on the trajectory for me.
Okay.
To be fair, didn't know what a producer did. I
Mm.
didn't even know. To be fair, I had to, when I say that, I'm like, did I? No, I probably didn't know what producer did. I knew actors. I knew that
Mm.
someone probably had to write the script for an actor. I knew director. But other than that, I was like, oh yeah, these people just arrive in a room and they have a script and they've got a director, and surely this is how they make a show
Yeah.
without really having an understanding that there's a whole machine behind this producer, choreographer, lighting designer. So, going into it, I sort of went into it quite cold. I knew that I wanted to work in theatre. I knew that I
Mm.
wanted to do something in the arts.
Hmm.
And originally I thought maybe performing was the route that I'd go down. But that idea quickly fizzled out. Then I was like, okay, if not performing, maybe I'll go and be a writer. And I was originally wanted to write pantos.
Oh
But
wow. Okay.
for various different things, that didn't happen.
Hmm.
Directing never really crossed my mind. I never really flirted with the idea of directing. Then I sort of hit a stumbling block and I was like, okay, I want to work in theatre, but if I can't produce and if I can't direct, if I can't write, if I can't act, what am
Yeah.
I going to do? So long to sort of cut the true story. I was at university studying theology, religion, and philosophy. And
Mm.
after my first year, I decided to take a gap year
Okay.
and just woke up one day and was like, today I'm going to figure out life. So took myself into central London, sat in a coffee shop. And
Yeah.
as I was in the coffee shop, I was overhearing a conversation about Broadway.
Mm.
And it was with Beverly Knight and a woman called Sue Frost.
Okay.
And that sort of led me to infiltrate their conversation. And Sue Frost is a Broadway producer. Did Memphis, did Come From Away. Beverly Knight is,
Wow.
themed singer, actress, performer and it was in that conversation that the idea was planted. Have you considered producing? And the first thing that came into my head and what actually came out of my mouth is, oh, but black people can't be producers.
Oh man,
because
yeah.
you don't see it, you know,
There's not
you
enough
don't,
of us doing that.
there isn't
Yeah.
enough of us, you know. But producers I'd always seen and heard of was Andrew Lloyd Webber and Cameron
Mm,
McIntosh. I was like, so
yeah.
you have to be white and you have to have money. Clearly, those are two things that I don't have.
Yeah.
So, you know, so, but that guidance and that planting the seed, and oftentimes the seed needs to be planted. And when you find that person who's willing to hold your hand and direct you down that path, and it's not even necessarily to help you to a point in which you become a producer, but someone being like, have you heard of this course? Or have you spoken to this person? Or have you considered going and working in a producer's office? All of that sort
Right.
of stuff is so invaluable. And that's what essentially Sue gave me, picked up the phone, got me on the Stage One New Producers course, partly looked into an involvement into Memphis where it was in the West End. So it's been a journey, and I sort of look at myself now and like the goal was never to produce. I think the
Mm,
goal of wanting to work in theatre was to create for other people the
hmm.
experience that I first had when I came to see a theatre show and how
Yeah.
that made me feel. And whether that could have been directing, that could have been writing, but it just ends up actually being producing. And I'm really lucky, I'm really grateful. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pretty well connected. I didn't even know you could. I was going to ask, like, is there a can you do a degree in being a theatre producer or like
Yeah, you
yeah.
can. But again, the degree doesn't really guarantee you anything.
Yeah.
There are a number of creative producing degrees, and they're definitely translatable. My journey to producing has literally been making it up as I go along. I never did a course. For the
Mm,
most part, I didn't work in a producer's office. I just started producing, and it then happened to be while I was producing that somebody was like, would you consider coming and working in a producer's office? But
yeah.
even when I worked in the office, I wasn't producing. I was sort of like a junior admin assistant kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everything I've learned till now, all the connections I've built till now, have literally just been me hustling and going after it because I really do believe in it.
So it sounds like you have to have that hunger, but it also sounds like it's something that you need to learn on the job in order to
You
get the
do,
experience. You can't read it in
you
a book.
do. No, 100%. A lot of it's trial and error. And, if you're lucky enough to work for another producer, you can kind of learn and make mistakes on their time and money.
Yeah.
With me, it was, I'm making this mistakes on my money, which I don't have. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which was the theatre production that you worked on and you actually thought, oh, okay, I'm a producer now. I can own that.
You know what? So many of them. There's
Okay.
been so many. There's probably two that stand out for me. One
Mm.
was always at the Hope Theatre in Manchester, which was in 2021. Me, Amina Hamid, and the Hope Mill joined together to put this new production of The Wiz, which hadn't been
Oh
done on
yeah,
the UK
yeah.
in such a long time. And going into it, it was right after COVID. There were so many reasons why it wasn't sensible to do it, but we believed that story needed to be told in a
Hmm.
period where people have had so much darkness, so much dreariness, so much
Mm.
disappointment. They just need joy.
Yeah.
And, the whole story of always, the whole story of, that that show is, Dorothy leaves wanting to go elsewhere, believing that outside she'd feel valued and welcome and she'd find home. But
Mm.
actually, what she finds out is that the place that you are is home. The
Yeah.
people around you are home. And, sometimes we go outside looking for validation. Sometimes we go outside seeking to find the truth. But actually, sometimes the truth is already in your heart. The validation is in your heart. You are enough.
Yeah.
And I think coming out of COVID, it just was the most beautiful project. And working with that group of people, that team, I
Hmm.
sort of sat and I was like, yeah, this is producing. This
Yeah.
is producing. Knowing that half the people we got there were some first-time graduates.
Right.
One of the guys, Llewellyn Jamal, had never trained. He had never trained. He was just somebody who grew up in the church and, done what he did. And just happened to walk into this audition because his friend was like, you should audition. And he walked into this open call. And when he left, we were all like, this is him.
Oh
This is,
wow.
this is our Tim man. And moments like that where where you're so fortunate to be in a room
Hmm.
and you're like, so we are literally cultivating the next generation of performers. Money can't buy that, money
Mm.
really can't buy that. And, the other one was Red Pitch, which was my first show as a lead producer of the West End.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with the piece when I first saw it at the Bush. And considering I've never lead produced in the West End, I don't know what gave me the confidence or belief to be like I was a person to do it. But
Wow.
I just believe that show deserved to be seen by a wider audience. And
Mm.
there were so many times I know other people were losing hope. We'll never
Okay.
get the West End theatre owners won't give it to us. And time, circumstance, faith, so many other things played such a big factor. And it entered into the West End, and that audience that came through
Yeah.
that show in that space Soho plays
Hmm.
night after night after night. It's just so mesmerizing and it was so beautiful. And working with that whole team, building it, doing that transfer and what that the nuts and bolts of those were, being liable for I think it was like 350K,
Oh my gosh.
it was a big journey, but
Yeah.
that was when I was like, oh, I'm playing with the big dogs now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it terrifying?
Yes and no. You know what? I am one of those people where I I never do something if my spirit doesn't give me confidence to walk forward.
Hmm.
And with Red Pitch, with Shifters, with every show I've done so far, my spirit's always been like, yes. And when my spirit says yes, I know it will be daunting, but I will have the tools to survive the dauntingness.
Yeah.
And going into Red Pitch, I was like, okay, this is my first show as a lead producer. You know, I should have been nervous,
Mm.
but there was just such an inner peace there, as if it was, here it is, everything that you've wished, prayed for, whatever it is just materializing before your eyes. Just bask in it. And, you know, it didn't come without its complications, but
Of
even in
course.
with complications, I didn't get upset. I just was like, all of this is all of this is here for a reason, and it's teaching me something to make me a better producer.
Yeah, in fact, it seems like the stars had aligned for you to be
Mm.
in that position as well. I mean, and also I guess the common denominator is Bush Theatre as well in
Yeah,
terms of shifters. And that
yeah,
sounds like I don't know, when I do these interviews, Bush Theatre comes up so many times as like such a safe space and like
it
really
is.
collaborative and there's a lot of
Yeah.
love there. So yeah, that's
It's like
nice.
I say the bush is like my home.
Yeah.
Whenever I walk into that building, I feel such an inner peace. Lynette, Dan, Mimi, Lauren Clancy, Oscar, Ed, the whole team.
Yeah.
The passion for work, the passion for people. And I think the danger about theatre sometimes, particularly for theatre practitioners, is work comes first, people second.
Right.
But what Bush adopts is work and people are both hand in hand. If we
That's
don't have the people, we don't have the work. If we don't have the work, we don't have the people. And you can't
mhm.
separate those. And just learning from Lynette and Dan and their leadership style and the way they bring people in and that community and family they've built for people over the
Yeah.
years. I think that's what's really informed me as a producer and how I want to operate.
Yeah. It's going to be all changed next year though.
I know, I know, I know, I know. But the
But
hope is that, they've built something strong that when
yeah.
it comes in will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think they've cultivated something amazing and their legacy will definitely filter through for
Mhm.
many, many
Mhm.
years. Which leads me on to Joyful Theatrical Productions. So
Yeah.
how's that going?
It's going well. It's going well. It's so funny, life has a full circle. Life really does come full circle. My first intro into theatre was panto.
Hmm.
I had never seen a pantomime before, and I don't read newspapers, but I'm going to say I was 7, 8, maybe. Yeah, I was probably 7 or 8, and for some reason I just picked up a local newspaper as a 7-year-old kid does.
As you do,
And,
yeah.
as you do, and I was just like flicking through the pages when I saw the competition page. It was like win 2 tickets to go and see the local panto, and my local theatres were Millfield and Edmonton.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, great. Entered the competition without telling my parents. And I won. But I remember saying to my dad, I was like, so I've won two tickets to go and see this pantomime. My dad was like, panto what? I said, pantomime. Again, they're just not theatre people. And my dad was like, so go by yourself. I'm like, no, I need to go with them.
Oh,
I know. So I literally just went. He came with me.
yeah.
And they called me up at the end. I'd done the song sheet. And I was just so mesmerized by it. And I, as a 7-year-old kid, the joy I had leaving the theatre,
Mm,
there's something in this. And year on year, I just go by myself. I'd be like to my mum and dad, can I have however much it was to buy the Panto ticket? They'd walk me to the bus stop, put me on the bus, send me off, and I'd go and see the show and
oh,
come
wow.
myself. And it
Yeah.
was a tradition year on year. And then happened to one year decide I wanted to go and see Happenings Panto because I was heard how good it was. And that's how I first came about Susie McKenna.
Hmm.
And I remember leaving and being like, oh my days, this is amazing, Clive. But Susie's storytelling and how
Yeah.
she brings it to the modern world and makes it so reflective and so diverse, so political, so funny, while still staying true to the form. So I must have been 8, 9, 10 maybe. And I think I dropped her an email. I was like, hi, Susie, came to see the Panto, really loved it. Can I come and see you?
Did you say
And
9 or 10?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was a savvy kid. I was a
Okay.
savvy kid.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on the bus to Hack. Was it the bus? Yeah. For 149, probably took me near enough and just got on the bus and arrived. And I just don't think Susie probably realised how young I was.
Yeah. That's
I
quite
remember
bold. I'm not going to
it
lie.
is, but that's been me,
Yeah.
that's always been me. And I'm sort of like, and I remember going in, I was like, I absolutely love your work, love the stuff you do. I want to work with you, even if it's just sit in a room and various other things. I love to do panto. I want to write panto one day. I might want to direct pantos. And the time she gave me, like, there was, Susie was very busy, I think they had just opened pantos. So there was like, still previews and various other things. And the time she gave me, there was never a looking at her watch being like, God, when's this kid going to go? However long you need with me, that's the length of the conversation we're going to have. And
Amazing.
leaving, I was like, oh, like if anything ever comes up. And Susie said, one day we will work on Panto together.
Wow. And here we
All
are.
this, and here we are all those years ago. And, sort of leaving, you're like, "Oh, yeah, great, okay, so it's never going to happen." And just circumstance and life happens. And
Mm,
the Catford Theatre had a panto in a number of years. I think after leaving Hackney, Susie was itching to go back into the form. I,
yeah.
having now started producing, was like I'd always wanted to produce pantos. That was always something that was on my bucket list. I have to produce a panto.
Wow. Yeah.
Then I got to meet Julie Clare, who's my business partner in theatrical productions, and the Broadway Theatre Catford were really interested in the idea, but really interested in Susie and
Mm,
the work Susie does. When Susie started Pantos at Hackney,
hmm.
it wasn't a brand. And what Susie did over 20 years was
Yeah.
build those Pantos into something that everybody, even if you only
Yeah.
went once a year, you went to see. But also you saw yourself, whether that was through Sharon D. Clark, Clive Rowe,
Yeah.
Kathleen, Darren
Yeah.
Hart, Jocelyn J.S. and Tamika,
Yeah.
and like all of those formidable people, young, old, a true reflection of the world. And, when we went into this, we were sort of sat down, we were talking, okay, what is it that we're trying to do with this? And it was spread joy.
Mm,
And, theatre should be a thing that alleviates, that gives healing, that gives comfort, but also gives joy. And actually, we want our pantos to be joyful.
yeah. And
So that's really
inclusive.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what kind of led to the momentum and the sort of like impetus of doing it. And we did Jackie with Beanstalk last year and was really keen to have a blend of formidable talent, but also people who are local. And,
Mm,
that's from our ensemble kids, but also looking at where we go out to audition for them.
yeah.
But also, Wayne Rollins is known to the Broadway Theatre Catford. Jerome, he's in our cast, is Lewisham born. So,
Brilliant.
I think it was really important that the people in that community see for themselves
Yeah.
people like us from our area have done it, so can we. There's
Yeah.
often when we see, the big, big names, people who've made it, but sometimes you have to see to believe, and seeing it in your own space
Mm.
where you live has a different meaning, different resonance. And, this year going into Sleeping Beauty, we've tried to adopt that same model with our kids, but also with our lead cast as well. And really just being like, how can we do things differently for this community? Because it's a
Yeah.
community that deserves to be loved. And we know that money's never always easy for families, but Pantos
Mm.
should be accessible. So through the work we're doing around diversity, representation, advocacy, outreach, community engagement, how can we make sure that the community are at the centre of all of this?
And it opens next week, right? So
Yeah,
how's this week been as you can see the finish line in front of you?
really good, really good. It's coming together beautifully. The costumes are phenomenal. Our Dane
Okay.
Justin is amazing. His comic timing is just superb. The company are so warm, they're just so energetic, but they're also so delighted to be there.
Hmm.
And Panto isn't for everybody. There
No.
are kids who turn up Panto, they're like, it's not for me, but everybody in that room genuinely wants to be there. There's a hunger, there's a drive for it to do well, but also because people believe in the same mission that we share. People believe that there's a power in telling the stories we want to tell, but also giving the community
Mm.
something to believe in. And someone like Jerome performed as a kid on the Broadway theatre stage. He
Yeah.
then went into the West End with Dreamgirls. If a
Oh
one little
wow.
kid can come to that theatre and see somebody who's been in the West End be started in their local theatre,
Hmm.
and that gives them the confidence to keep pushing on, then what more can we ask for?
So why should people come and see Sleeping Beauty, local or otherwise?
Because it's fun, it's engaging, it's political, but also it's a reflection of the world.
Hmm.
You go and you see Sleeping Beauty, and even in rehearsal, I was looking around, I was like, this is Lewisham, this is Tottenham, this is Stratford, this is Dulwich, this is Hampstead. It's
Yeah.
just through diversity of London, of the UK on that stage. It keeps the traditional form of panto, all those bits we love, but
Hmm.
also brings it into a modern day. And I think the beauty of panto is you can play with it and you can be adventurous with it. And it's funny, it's such a family feel entertainment. There's songs you'll definitely recognize. There's jokes that you'll laugh at, jokes for kids, jokes for adults. It definitely is a big family affair. And I do think whether you're a Lewisham based, Catford based, in the local vicinity, but also across London, it definitely is for Panto. I do feel for everybody. That is for the community, that is for people, that is for the world, essentially. So, yeah,
I'm coming to see it next week with
amazing.
we're doing an aphrodisiac and dope black mums meetup.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I love that. That's
So
amazing.
we've told everyone to come out with their family. So hopefully, yeah, really looking forward to seeing it. And as
Amazing.
producer, what has been your flair that you've put into Sleeping Beauty? Like
That's
what wouldn't have happened if you weren't doing it?
good question. Oh, good question. I think for me, it's, probably where my stance always is around humanity. And actually just, I make no secret that one of my big aims is around representation in theatre
Yeah.
and actually making sure that across your board we are representative, community access. Had it not been for that
Hmm.
competition I won, I probably wouldn't have gone to see a panto. So how are we making sure
Yeah.
that communities can come and see it? So we've got our £1 ticket scheme that really to
Okay.
get out, looking at how we build the next generation of those coming forward, our talent pipeline scheme, work with our local colleges to build up the next generation of lighting designers, sound designers,
Yep.
musicians, costume makers,
Hmm.
because it's through there, it's through opening doors, through giving access. Had it not been for Sue entertaining that conversation with me, holding my hand, opening that first door for me to
Yeah.
open my next, how are we doing that? And, I always say that me as a producer, I never see myself as the person in control. I see myself solely as a vessel.
Okay.
And it's a vessel to enable others to realize their full potential because somebody was a vessel for me to help me realize mine.
And you said earlier that your parents weren't theatre people, but now that
Yeah,
you are fully living the dream,
yeah.
are they theatre people now?
No, they're still not fair to people. I
Oh,
haven't converted
really?
them yet. I haven't converted them yet. Although, to be fair, in COVID, I was watching Memphis on YouTube and I played it, and my parents sat down and absolutely loved it. So I think, for the right show, they will
Okay.
probably come and say, I was trying to get them to see Shifters and Red Pitch, but it just
Really?
wasn't working out. But, one day,
One
hopefully.
day, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we've got our quick fire round now. One of them you've
Okay.
already answered, which was who took you to the how old were you when you first went to the theatre and who took you? But you've told me that one already. Um, who has had the biggest impact on your theatre career that you would like to thank right now?
Okay. Can I say three people?
You can say three people.
Okay. Eleanor Lloyd
Okay.
had one of the biggest impacts for a number of different reasons. Without Eleanor, I wouldn't have done my first Broadway show as a co-producer.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
Eleanor was that person that opened that door to me, so I owe her so much. Peter Huntley, who essentially was a person that believed in my vision, my idea,
Hmm.
opened the door for me to work at Talawar, but also gave me my first job in the West End as an assistant producer. And that's literally what launched my career. And then Stephen Bird and his business partner, Elliot Jones, who,
Yay. I know Stephen.
they are just phenomenal. And the time, the wisdom, the love that they share to me on a weekly basis is
Hmm.
just, so humbling. They were trailblazers for their times. So
Yeah.
to be able to learn from them and to hopefully open the door and pay forward for someone else is so beautiful.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Um, it's a wrap.
Wow.
Thank you very much for your time today. And well done. You're doing amazingly well with your career. And yeah, let's see what 2025 has in store for you as well.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Speak to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.